We now start the regular press conference by Minister Motegi. Mr. Motegi, please. I have one opening statement. In response to the severe flooding caused by the recent torrential rains that struck central Vietnam, I have one announcement. In response to the severe flooding caused by the recent torrential rains that struck central Vietnam, the government of Japan today decided to provide an emergency grant aid of $1.5 million to Vietnam. This emergency grant will be used to provide essential supplies and implement humanitarian assistance in water and sanitation sectors through international organizations. Japan intends to work closely with the relevant agencies to support the swift possible recovery of the affected areas. From the other dates, in Southeast Asia, there were many damages due to the flooding and the impact from the typhoons as well, depending upon the needs of the individual countries as well as the requests from each country. We'd like to provide appropriate support and assistance. And in the case where similar situation happens going forward, we'd like to respond in the similar manners. That is all from myself. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. And if you're designated, please approach the nearest microphone, state your name and affiliation, and ask questions in succinct manner. Sakaguchi-san of Kyoto.
This is Sakaguchi of Kyoto Tsushin Press. Thank you. The Venezuelan opposition leader, Ms. Maria Corina Machado, who received the Nobel Peace Prize, held a press conference in Oslo calling for the support of all democratic nations and urging the world to take action towards achieving a transition from the increasingly authoritarian anti-U.S. Maduro administration and realizing democratization. What is your reaction to Ms. Machado's receipt of the prize, and how does the government of Japan intend to respond to her appeal? This time, Venezuelan opposition leader Ms. Maria Corina Machado received the Nobel Peace Prize, and we regard this that this has been a recognition of her work as an opposition leader to restore democracy in Venezuela. Regardless of the situation, the fact that she has received a Nobel Peace Prize, which is a highly prestigious award, I would like to extend my congratulations. Regarding the situation in Venezuela, Japan has emphasized the importance of through the implementation of dialogue between the ruling and opposition parties and with the engagement of broad participation of stakeholders to restore democracy peacefully as soon as possible in Venezuela. And hence, based on this view, we have issued G7 foreign minister statements and engaged with the Venezuelan government. We will continue to closely follow the situation and cooperate closely with the international community to work to peacefully restore democracy in Venezuela. Next question, please. Chiba-san from GG Press.
Chiba of GG.
I am Chiba of GG Press. At the end of last month, Ambassador Onuma Toshiyuki was elected president of the ICAO. Together with Mr. Metoki, the Director General of the Universal Postal Union, this brings the number of Japanese heads of UN agencies to 2, which is the highest ever. What is your take on this? And also, the number of Japanese staff working in UN agencies has been increasing. Could you share your expectations regarding Japanese nationals assuming senior positions in these organizations? So as you rightly pointed out, Ambassador Onuma's selection to lead ICAO, to lead the board of directors at the International Civil Aviation Organization, together with Director General Metoki of the Universal Postal Union. This means Japanese nationals are leading and playing active roles in 2 out of the 15 UN organizations. This reflects the high regard of the international community for the candidates' own achievements, as well as Japan's long-standing contributions, and therefore I welcome this outcome. At international organizations, including the UN, Japanese people playing active roles at various posts, including at the executive level, is important, as I have said since before. This helps strengthen cooperation between Japan and the respective organizations, and also help Japan to take the lead in rulemaking in the international community, and therefore it is very important. As such, going forward, we continue our efforts to enhance Japan's presence in those organizations, including the UN.
Are there any questions? Ono-san of Asahi Newspaper. Ono of the Asahi Shimbun. In regard to the general election in Myanmar, the first round of voting in Myanmar's general election is scheduled very soon. And what position does Japan take in regarding the legitimacy of the general election? And amid the continued detention of Aung San Suu Kyi and many others, and ongoing suppression, what type of efforts will the Japanese government undertake, if you could elaborate? Well, assessment of legitimacy sometimes is really complicated, but from the Japanese government point of view, the general election this time is one of a process towards the restoration of the democratic political system, and it should be positioned as such. As you have correctly pointed out, the release of the detainees, as well as the sincere dialogue with the different parties and other political movement will have to be realized, and yet without that, if the general election could be undertaken without such actions, and then general election could provoke further protests by the people of Myanmar, and a peaceful resolution becomes even more difficult, and the Japanese government gravely concerned about such risks. And the Japanese government will continue to assert that violence has to be immediately ceased, and also the release of the detainees such as Aung San Suu Kyi and others, and early restoration of the democratic political systems. We've been doing some actions to encourage the Myanmar government, but we'd like to continue persistently to restore the situation. Are there any questions? If not, then we'd like to close today's press conference. Thank you very much.